that have just hopped on the call. So really lovely and very much welcome to the incredible Dragon Thunder Summit. This is Dean. He is a Dragon Incarnate and has been working with dragons since 2018. He was initiated as a Dragon Lord in December 2020, shortly after his activation, connecting him with Merlin consciousness. His introduction to dragons began mid-2018 when his late brother returned after almost a decade apart. He left in human form and returned in dragon form. His talk is, the title for this talk is My Life as a Dragon Incarnate. Dean, welcome to this year's summit.
Thank you, Stephanie. Welcome to all. Before I go any further in English, Akura Ikapara Shigahua Yaka Imaruya Kikama Yashahawa. Yeah, that would be enough in Dragon tongue. Hello all. Oh, do you want me to start talking? All right.
Absolutely, Dean. I'm giving you the floor. Absolutely amazing start to your talk. Incredible.
All right. So you mentioned that I was initiated as a Dragon Lord. That has now come to my awareness that I am actually a Pendragon. So I am a direct relation or genetically related to the original Pendragons. And though the way people who rule this planet today call themselves kings and queens, the King of England believes he is a Pendragon descendant. But in truth, he is not. He's an imposter. And through research that is coming to my awareness that just in mid-12th century, the Pendragons were killed off. And they believed they got rid of all of them. They've missed a couple. So I'm one of the direct descendants of one of those who survived. And it's been an interesting path learning about these things. It has also brought into my world an individual who has changed his name legally to Arthur Pendragon. He is a reincarnation of Arthur. Though the name and the language is different today than it was back then, most people believe it is a fictional story, but in truth, it is a real story. It's just that it's been mixed and changed around a lot to suit the modern day. Arthur, when he first came into my awareness, it was quite interesting because he connected to me via Messenger, Facebook, and my soul, my higher self, picked up on him being who he was about a minute before it clicked with me. And I came over with goosebumps all over. And it was like, what's all this about? And then it came to my awareness, oh my God, this is the real Arthur. This is him. This is him. And then I saw him standing before me dressed in golden armor. And then I realized I had something in my hands and looked down to see that I had Excalibur. And was not in its original form. It's now in a crystal form. And I could literally feel the weight of this etheric sword in my hands. As I handed it to him, I was even shaking. And it then came up that he and I have a soul contract, but it's not your average soul contract. This one's written in gold, and it has a big golden seal on the bottom. I've never seen any other soul contracts in this form before. So to me, this came across as this is the legit person. This is Arthur. And him and I have got a very important role together. So I better do my utmost to make sure that I fulfill it. The last thing I want to do is fail on that. And it's come to our awareness since that we are 2 of the 13 Golden Dragon Kings. And we are to at least at the moment, awaken the 5D Earth chakras on the planet. So far, we have awoken 2, which was originally started with Cairo, and second one, which was with Arthur at Glastonbury on May 5. And his dragon is the emerald heart of the earth. She is gorgeous. She's such a majestic being. And when she awoke, it was such an experience that I was standing outside at 3 a.m. in the dark, barefoot on the grass, in my Merlin form. And she's popped up before me, literally staring me in the face. And I said to her, "Hello, sweetheart. Arthur's awake. Go find him." And she was off. And yeah, it was one of those experiences that I just say that if you weren't there, you wouldn't understand. But it was so enriching, so amazing. But it certainly showed me that I am a Merlin embodiment. Not just a Merlin connector. I'm connected. I've embodied the Merlin consciousness. And on that subject, there's something that I needed to make aware that I have come to learn of the Merlin consciousness of the 37 individuals who have embodied the consciousness since Merlin first embodied on the planet. 3 of those individuals are what we consider fallen. They used the Magik for their own self-gain, path of self, service to self. And that came to awareness that the magic that everyone accesses on the planet, we call it a reservoir, not a reservoir, it's a wellspring. The wellspring of magic that everyone uses has been corrupted. And what happened was Merlin did a deal with a dragon, and he made a copy of the original wellspring, and then he used it for his own gain. The other 2 embodiments who are down the same path were essentially the reincarnation of that same consciousness into another body. And that wellspring is the one everyone uses today. Where whatever magic anyone uses, whatever form of magic, it uses this wellspring of magic. Merlin's the original wellspring is still untouched and unpolluted. And that analogy we use is there's a TV series called The Magicians. And at one point in that show, one of the gods does a shit in the wellspring of magic. So essentially what this Merlin consciousness has done a very much a similar thing. And everyone is using this polluted wellspring. But what has happened also is those 3 Merlin consciousnesses have been removed from the collective. And the Merlin consciousness now is at 18 dimension, 18D. Anything below the 5D realm is only accessing a polluted consciousness or a corrupted Merlin consciousness. So in the future, like I did with an individual recently who claimed that they were channeling Merlin, I asked the question about the wellspring. What happened to the wellspring of magic? And their answer was wrong. They didn't have the awareness that I have. So they were connected or channeling the lower, no longer accessible to the Merlin consciousness. So if anyone in the future wishes to connect with Merlin, drop that question on them. What happened to the wellspring of magic? And if they come back with anything other than it was stolen and corrupted, you will know you are not connected to the true Merlin. Recently, I have had some interesting connections as me being a Pendragon. Certain individual dragons on the planet have connected to me. One in particular is connected through Fabian Liu, who's second speaker this morning. And when she came to me, I'll just say, I won't use her real name, dragon name, but she came to me and she said, I am Tiamat. And we've been watching you for a while now, and it's about time that we connected. And I connected to the Tiamat consciousness. Now, many people out there just desire to connect to Tiamat, and yet they have to go out of their way to connect to her. She came to me. What an experience that was in itself. But yes, I hope she shared her true name this morning. But Tiamat is not the name that she likes or she even identifies with, but it's the name that we all know, so that's the name we use. But she doesn't identify with that name in particular. All dragons, I don't care what anybody says, have a 3-syllable sacred name. This name is sacred to them in such a way that it accesses their magic. And if a dragon shares this name with an individual who is not trustworthy or connected to them in a guardian manner, they can use this against the dragon and essentially trap it into bondage. A lot of dark magicians on the planet today have done this in the past. And in my role as Dragon Lord or Pendragon, I have released millions of dragons from this bond. But once the dragon connects to their guardian and they claim ownership of the name, that name is no longer usable to be able to trap that dragon. But yeah, the dragon 3-syllable name refers to 3 specific frequencies that, once spoken out loud in together, unlock a hidden dimension within the dragon's heart that opens up where the pearl is hidden and allows the magic to flow forward. The first syllable is tied to the parents, so the mother and the father dragon, their lineage, sort of like our surname we use today. The second frequency or second syllable ties to the place of birth for that dragon. And the third one is unique to each individual dragon as it holds their internal essence or their uniqueness. Each dragon has its own uniqueness, as we all do on the planet Earth with human. But once these 3 syllables are spoken out loud, it awakens this internal magic dimension. Now, I've introduced a couple of hundred people to their dragons in this manner since 2018, and each one of them have come out like, wow, that experience is unlike any other experience with a dragon I've had before. So think of it like the dragon is what most people would call our guardian angel. It's a part of the soul, and it's tied to the spark, the soul spark. And they can't, due to free will, they can't just walk in and tap you on the shoulder and go, hello, I'm your dragon. People would freak out. So, and they vibrate at such a high frequency that we normally cannot connect to them until we awaken. Those of us who have reached our high frequency level, the dragon then is in the peripheral of our field and we can detect it. Most people will go, oh, wow, I've got a dragon around. But also due to the free will, they're at the peripheral of our field. So it's very similar to, they say, with the vampires in Hollywood movies. The vampire cannot enter your home until you invite him in. So you need to invite the dragon into the field. Because of the position I hold, all dragons so far have trusted me with their sacred name, and I'm able to share that with the individual. And they invite the dragon in by speaking the name out loud, or verbalizing it, and then I invite you to enter my energy field. And what I see, and I've seen the same thing every time, is the dragon puffs up, they get bigger, and they change, and it's like they go into a trance. And then they fly around the individual right at the peripheral of their field, and they get tighter and faster and tighter and faster. until they reach the center of the field. And then they spin around the person's head to their feet and back up to their head. And then they stop and they will stare them in the face, eye to eye. And as, the experience is, if your field is clear and you have no blockages, you'll see, hear, feel, smell. If you licked it, you'd taste them. There is such a visceral experience. And yeah, I've had a few people cry. Most of them should cry. If you don't cry, you're not human. It's a very enlightening experience. And today I was going to offer our viewers of the live session only. And I will make it for anyone who views it. Connect to me and I will do you a 50% discount on the Dragon introduction, $22 US instead of 40. It is
That's amazing.
A whole new experience. And even those of you who've worked with them for 10, 20 years or longer, you will never experience the energy that you get from this introduction. I had planned to make some t-shirts, especially for this session, but everything got in my way and I never got around to it. But I'm hoping that after today, I'll be able to get some of those finished. And if anyone wants to, I'll be offering them to viewers of the show at a discounted price. I'll be making no profit on them. I just print them and share them out. I've got about 40 different images of dragons and some of Merlin, but one specifically from Kevin's page of the Galactic Dragon Thunder Summit 2024. And that was something I wanted to share with everyone. Arthur Pendragon. It's an image of him and his dragon, created by Marlene Uman-Ra. I think she's a speaker at the summit. She made some artwork for the individuals who are the dragon riders or the chakra holders. So with Arthur and his dragon, I'll get back to that. So here's what we call a dragon rider. So he's a human embodiment of that dragon's consciousness in a lower density. So him and the dragon are the same consciousness. He's just the human embodiment of that consciousness. And of the 12 dragons on the planet, dragon chakra holders, he is the heart and the emerald heart. But Marlene had gone and done all of these artworks through the AI on one of the AI ChatGPT systems. And Arthur wanted his on his shirt, but more so his dragon wanted him to have it. But yes, if anyone is interested, let me know and I'll share the artwork I've got set up and you can choose your own. Or yeah, I reckon that'd be best. Like, choose your own shirt.
That's a fantastic offer, Dean. Thank you ever so much. You were just saying about the 12 chakra hearts.
No, 12 chakra portals. There's
portals.
Arthur's tied to the heart chakra at Glastonbury. The one at Cairo is the throat chakra. But these are the 5D chakras, not the lower 4-dimensional ones. So once they're awakened, they will allow the I am an embodiment of the rainbow serpent from Uluru. I've connected and embodied with her consciousness. And she is one of the 2 Kundalini serpents of the planet. The other is Quetzalcoatl, that we know from the South American, the Mayan reality. And the female embodiment, or the female who is connected to that dragon, she is also in Australia. And essentially what we are to do is, once the 12 chakras are open, we then kickstart the Kundalini lines of the earth. And once Earth has her Kundalini rising, then the planet can reach 5D consciousness as a collective. But it won't be able to happen until Earth has her Kundalini rising. So far we've awakened 2 of the 12 chakras. And though Marlene says she's going to do it over the next decade, that's too long. We have to have it done sooner than that. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I'm one of the 13 Golden Dragon Kings, tied to the this collection or connection. Merlin is not one of them, and she needs to start listening to the ones who are, because we have a connection to the higher consciousness. And yeah, we sit on our own council, but we have been appointed by the Galactic Council. So whatever roles we hold have been appointed by a higher authority than us. And this has been planned, though it has been planned for 100 years, at least 100 years, but it has already fulfilled itself in the higher dimensions. We literally have to now walk it out in linear time so it can then embody on the planet. But it's been a success in the higher realms so far. Let's all hope that we all stick to our plans and our agreements, and it all fulfills in this realm in linear time as it has happened in the higher dimensions. I've been told to ask. Anyone got any questions?
You can write them in the chat, or
Okay.
or if at the minute no one's written anything, we've got Elizabeth's gone, wow, I see you, Merlin, I need this. So absolutely fantastic. It's really resonating with people. If anyone's got any questions, they can put them in the chat, or if you'd like to unmute, you are very much welcome to unmute and ask your question directly.
Awesome. Go ahead, everyone.
Not at the minute, but I will keep my eyes open for anyone who comes on. Oh, here we go. Where do we find your great offer about a partial session?
Connect to me via Facebook Messenger.
Yep, I will get you your link for Facebook now, and I will put it in the chat for everybody who's here.
So facebook.com/Dean.Bottles, which is my birth name, or my christened name. The only person on the planet who's ever had that name. I'm one of one. But yeah, Vinilin Ponan, one of the other speakers who's on tomorrow, he is connected to me with his original intention was to find someone who was connected to dragons. And the universe guided him to me. He is one of the only other individuals I know who's at 5D consciousness or higher. I am at 6D, and I've had to keep my frequency low, otherwise I'd float away and would no longer be visible in this realm to anybody else. I'm essentially like a bridge. So if I am here in the lower frequency, so others can use my frequency to climb higher. Other than that, there's only a very small, like less than 20 people on the planet at 5D consciousness or higher at the moment. We need more of you awake at the higher realms. So many of you believe you are. Your energy speaks for itself. So those of you who are tapped in will notice how strong my energy is. And that's me at rest. Most people wait till I tune myself in and awaken my frequency. I then get really, really strong. But that is the way to tell someone's consciousness is high, is how strong their energy is when you connect to them.
Yeah.
Vinilin, his consciousness is pretty impressive. So I hope he's all listen to him tomorrow when he speaks. But he is what we believe is an embodiment of Metatron. And he's one of the only people I trust who work on healing my energy. And let's just say that he is amazing. I just want to share that he's an amazing individual, and I'm glad to call him a friend.
Great. But I've got a couple of questions, Dean, that have come in too. So this one's from Alison. What do you say about the dragons and their role with helping the divine feminine?
I'm connected to the divine feminine consciousness as well. So I'm more of got the feminine in my frequency than masculine. I'm not a butch macho guy, though I have tattoos and I look like a rough bikie. I'm not. But we are essentially here to heal the feminine frequency due to the corruption that's happened over the centuries, especially in the 20th century, with the fall of the feminine to what we call the Jezebel consciousness. So what are girls who want to dress up slutty, go out of their way to take advantage of men and use them for their own gain, or the toxic feminine, that needs to be healed. And the return of the mother goddess consciousness is what is the ultimate goal.
I love that. The mother goddess consciousness.
We were not as wise as we are today. So we were more headstrong and egotistic back then. So yeah, we a little bit ahead of the game, and we thought we could do more than we were capable of. So that's a lot to tie to the Atlantis. We were too much ego is what I'm hearing. Too much ego. Mm. Hope that answers your question. I didn't want to go any much deeper on that.
Yeah.
The long part would be it's a long, white, twisty tail. Other than that, next question, please.
Yeah. Well, the other question is around, it seems that it's from Leanne, and it seems like AI has lots of dragons. It's her perception anyway. Do you want to say any more about dragons and AI?
People are using AI to create dragon images. So the dragon, the AI doesn't have any awareness of what they are to humans and what our connection to them are. I see them as essentially what everyone calls a guardian angel. If you've got a soul, you've got a guardian dragon. But not until your frequency is high enough and clear enough can you connect to them. AI, it's just an art tool. It's just a tool. It doesn't have any awareness of what a dragon is, let alone what they are tied to humans in any way.
Oh,
not all AI.
Apparently it's not AI. Sorry, it's Australia. Sorry, it's my. So sorry.
Well, misinterpretation. Let's call it that. Start again.
So the question is, sorry, it seems like Australia has lots of dragons. That's her perception anyway. Sorry,
well, no, actually, we've only got a few. Like, though I'm connected to the rainbow serpent, that's a serpent. Though she's a water dragon. Though I have had an argument with an Aboriginal elder. Not an argument, he started it, but he says she's not a rainbow serpent's not a dragon. I said, she's a water dragon. And he goes, oh, don't tell me about my culture. You're quite rude about it. But the Quetzalcoatl consciousness is embodied in Australia. I don't know why that is, but it is. Other than that, I'll just bring me up to a subject I forgot to add, but as of recently, Arthur and I have discovered that, especially in England and Europe, the dragons, when the churches were originally built, we're going back to the 11th and 12th centuries in some cases, dragons were sacrificed. 2 dragons would be sacrificed and their bodies were buried under the churches as a means to... Now, the other side of it is churches are all built on intersecting ley lines. You'll find that all of them are. Mm. So what seems has happened is they connected to the ley line consciousness, what we call dragon lines, and they tied them into a knot at these sites where these churches are built. Please, I'm in here. Don't interrupt, please. Thank you. They sacrificed these dragons and tied their energy together. So the masculine and the feminine lines are now bound together at these sites where these churches are. Now, Arthur and I have been working with several others and a few teams that we are we're connecting to the dragons at these sites and we're sending them for healing. And if necessary, they are being replaced as they are a guardian of the ley line and the portal. But that's only if they decide to. If they choose to return, that they're healed and return to the site. But we found that these dragons were bred solely for this task. I'm not sure when it began and when it ended, but so far all of the churches in England and Europe have had dragons killed and buried under the, I believe it's about 5 or 6 feet under the actual foundations. But yeah, we've discovered that this has happened at all these sites in Europe. And it's very saddening. No, it doesn't happen today. It once was a time then when dragons were seen as part of the nature, part of the animal kingdom. And in these cases, they were killed and buried under these locations. But there's been a few sites where we've actually found vampire bones as well. And what I heard through the connection to my higher self is that some of these sites, they had a different purpose. And using the vampire consciousness, they were able to tie them into a deeper dimension, to a hell dimension. So the church is always seen as having a connection to the hells, or demons, fear the demons. When in truth, that wouldn't have been a normal situation, or that wouldn't have happened normally. But to those who have tied to the belief in Christian reality, it's all a lie. They've been poisoned, sadly. But yeah, we are doing our best to free these dragons and at least heal them and offer them a replacement if they choose to. But yeah, as I've been going, I've set up a team to help with Arthur. And everywhere he goes, he's seeing these beings trapped at these sites. Recently, him and a couple of other friends, Myra and Jason Gerdes from America, are in the UK. Mm-hmm. And they found another dragon trapped under Glastonbury, the Tor. And there was a black, she's white, but there was a black male dragon. And he was upset because they were taking her. We're releasing her from her chains, but essentially, I think they were the two ley lines that we used to create the Tor at Glastonbury. He has since been connected to her in the healing sanctuary I've created. I created my own healing sanctuary back in 2018 because the amount of dragons that were found were in bonds. Servitude to black magicians. So I created a healing sanctuary. I call it Sanctuarius. And yeah, all dragons that have been freed and healed are healed in this sanctuary. Mm. But yeah, he has now been reunited with her in Sanctuarius. And we are using that place to further the medbed technology. We have our own healing pods within there. So we can literally heal a dragon or rebuild its body in 24 hours.
That's incredible.
Some of these dragons have got missing teeth and they've got scars, and some of them have got missing claws. But once they've come back from Sanctuarius, it's all back to normal. There's no missing teeth, no missing claws, no scars. They're like a brand new dragon again. And the number I'm being told, this number constantly is rising. It's 11.45 million dragons have passed through Sanctuarius since 2018. 11.45 million dragons.
Wow.
That's a lot of dragons that have been in servitude to humans.
It is a lot of dragons.
Black path is the wrong way. But it has originally come from what the Pendragons used to do. It was a ritual that the male, once the male Pendragon reached a certain age of, you could say, puberty, he was then to perform a ceremony where him and his dragon, part of the soul, he would then embody that consciousness. And he, once the Pendragons were killed off, this ritual was no longer carried out. But those who claim to be the Pendragon ancestors, or the royals of the world, the Blue Bloods, they're Draco, they're not dragon. But they created their own method of embodying a dragon, and that was through a black magic ritual.
Right.
And that is what today is known as the left-hand path, or the dragon path. So if only those individuals realize that their soul actually has a dragon connected to it, but they're essentially connecting to a dragon external of them. That's not a part of their field. And they're doing an agreement, and then that dragon is entering their body or partially possessing them. And then they become what they call a co-magician. So, yeah, that's not the right path, guys. If you're anyone considering doing the dragon path, don't. Because it's not good for the dragon, let alone it's not the correct way. Yeah. We're all at a high frequency today. Humanity is already at a higher frequency. So as we found, a lot of people are connecting to dragons today, or that part of their soul. And yeah, once upon a time, it wasn't accessible to humans. It was only the Pendragons. But today, essentially, we've evolved and humanity has changed in such a way that it's a part of everyone's soul now. So, yeah, if you really want to connect to your dragon aspect or the part of the soul, connect with me and I'll help you.
Amazing. Leanne did also add another question after you were talking about the rescue work, and it said, did you get the two that were in foster 15 years ago?
No, I wasn't even connected to dragons 15 years ago. As far as I was concerned back then, they were fantasy, make believe. So fostering, you're talking about fostering Queensland? New South Wales, sorry. New South Wales. Asking.
Yeah. And hopefully NSW, she says.
New South Wales. So Foster's Northern New South Wales. No, I did not know, but I will go and look for them if you would like to connect with me and give me some more details. Whereabouts in Foster? Well, it's Forster, actually. Forster, not Foster. Anyway, she'd like to give me a bit more direct information. I'll certainly go and look into that.
Leanne, what I'll do is I'll send you Dean's Facebook, so you can maybe connect directly with Dean, and then you can have that conversation as well. But also, as you say, you have got that offer as well for everyone that's also going to be on there. And I think it sounds as if you're doing some incredible work, Dean. Absolutely amazing.
I'm trying to do as much as I can. As for the collective, never had anything for me. And that's one of the differences between the original wellspring of magic and the one that's used today. The only way to use it is for the collective. It's not about self. And yet magic today is always about what can I gain from it? And it's never about what you can give to the collective. I was originally given a warning that if I was to use magic for my own gain, it would start an unquenchable fire within my core that would eventually consume me. And I was made to vow that I would never use it for my own self. And still today, 2024, I've never used it for my own gain. I use it in healing work and I use it in working with the collective. And all I can say is the manifestation time is almost instantaneous. You're doing it for the greater good of the world and everybody on it. But ultimately, doing it for the collective benefits you in the long term. So eventually it does come back to you, but not instantly. But with anyone who uses traditional magic today, you'll find that you have to do a working or an agreement with another deity or a being who then takes their time, and it's up to them whether they do it sooner rather than later. So there's always a time difference and there's a cost. But when it comes to working with a collective, the cost is zero and manifestation time's almost instant. That's the difference between working with the original magic and that we call Magik today.
Yeah.
I think on my points that I had written down to speak about. I know we've probably got a couple more minutes, 5 more minutes, or is it, what are we?
Yeah, we've got 5 more minutes. So if anyone has any more questions, please add them into the chat. And we can also get a bit more information. Dean, I've got a couple of questions. You were talking about the 3-syllable secret name. And I noticed that you said one of them was family. One was, I think it was the birth location, but I missed what
The third one is tied to the individual unique essence or magic hidden within that dragon connection.
Amazing.
I mentioned earlier, we were all egotistical, the connection to our dragons at Atlantis. We were there, we were just too egotistical, and we thought we were more capable than we actually were. We made a mistake. Yeah, I had something and I lost it then. That's okay. Oh, yeah. I don't have a website because I had planned to have my website ready for this. Well, I had a heart attack in May. And I was told at the time by my guides, it's time for you to come home. We're ready for you. And being blunt, my answer was, fuck no, I'm not going now. So I had the choice to stay or go. I chose to stay. And yeah, though I have healed pretty well, I haven't had any external healing work working with others. So I haven't had the money to pay for my new website. So sadly, it's not ready. But yeah, Above 5D is my YouTube channel. Just starting to get it going. But which dragon would you call upon to help in really?
So I don't know if you noticed, there's a couple, two extra questions that have just come in from Alison. I don't know if you can see them in the chat.
I haven't got chat open.
Okay, so the first one is, what do you sense is the connection of the dragons with Atlantis? So it's specifically about what do you sense is the connection of dragons with Atlantis?
Well, let's just say back in times of Atlantis, we could embody our dragon a lot easier. And we were too egotistical. So we made a mistake and Atlantis fell due to what the dragons did. Today, we have reconnected with them, but at a different level because our consciousness essentially isn't at the 5D level or above when we're born. So back in them times, it was, and we were able to connect to our dragon forms a lot easier. And we were too egotistical and not wise enough, and we messed up. And Atlantis, we're not going to make that mistake again, that's for sure. The other question.
Yes, and then the second one is, which dragon would you call upon to help with politics, extremism, and to shift politicians in power to do more for the greater collective good rather than their greed for power?
Let's just say that the answer I'm getting told is politicians and all the people that rule the world today are ruling it in fear and greed. They're not deserving of their positions or the titles that they declare they have. When the new change comes, now this goes back to Arthur. I did declare that I'm a Pendragon, and he's a reincarnation. So he hasn't got the genes in his DNA to prove that he's connected to the Pendragon. I do. So King Charles, the Ponce, he believes he's a Pendragon. Though they call him today the Order of the Royal Garter. And when you have that title, you have become what they call a vampire. So the real Pendragon has to then prove his DNA and then take the throne back. But I don't want the throne. It's not something I desire. So I've already made a declaration that I'm going to give it to Arthur. And he becomes, and we will essentially fulfill a prophecy, which is the return of Arthur and Avalon. It's going to be called New Avalon. Arthur will be taking over. So in the meantime, we have to remove those in power and set up a new system. There won't be any more politics. I wouldn't call upon any dragons to work with them. Extremism and polarity. I don't work with individual dragons, sweetheart. I got 11 million of them in my field. I work with them as a collective, but individually, I don't have any specific dragons that I would call upon to do any specific individual work.
Mm-hmm.
And that just reminded me, I've got another one of these earth dragons connecting with me. First one was Leviathan recently. I connected with the Leviathan dragon. But Fafnir, he is very soon to awaken in Scotland. And I look forward to his connection with me. Leviathan, that was an experience. Before I go, I know I'm running a bit late. This individual connected to me, he is a walk-in of an angel, and his dragon energy, his dragon came to me. I declared to him, I am Lord of Dragons, being egotistical. I felt this weight on my leg. And it was like, my God, this guy's energy is so strong. Then it got close and I could feel this heat on my face, like a blow dryer 7 feet away. Next thing on my face was this nose, and he went, so you think you're Lord of Dragons, do you, boy? I could hear it in my ear like he was actually talking to me. He says, I'll be the judge of that. And yeah, he then admitted and came to the agreement that I am. But that was Leviathan. His energy is so huge. And recently he went to Sanctuarius and he got his healing. And he is no longer going to be destroying humanity like he was planned to do. But yeah, it's an experience meeting these dragons who are from our lore or history, you know, like Tiamat and Leviathan and Fafnir. It's quite an experience because these dragons have got such an identity already, whether it's in lore or history or fiction or not. But yeah, it's been an experience, and I enjoy every single minute of it.
It sounds like it. It absolutely sounds like it. So, Dean, thank you so much. If there are any more questions, we do have another 5-10 minutes to be able to take any more questions. You can get in touch with Dean, as he's already said, on his Facebook page. I have put in his Facebook page again in the chat so that people can click on there. And if they want to reach out to you, find out more details about your offers, they can do that all on that Facebook page, can't they, Dean?
Just mention that you are connecting because of the Dragon Thunder Summit talk, and I'll immediately know to give you a discount.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, don't forget to mention Dragon Thunder. So that sounds.
I'm hoping to come back for next year as well, if that's all right with Kev.
Oh, I'm sure that it will be. It's absolutely fantastic to hear all of the work you've been doing. The thing is relationships and working with dragons is so unique and so different. It's just such an amazing opportunity to hear everybody's work. And, you know, and the fact that this happened and so many people up until so recently felt like they were different, they were strange, they were on their own.
Dragons don't eat other dragons. Dragons do not fight other dragons. Dragons are essentially herbivores. They're not carnivores. And without a dragon who's in a real world situation, they will go out of their way and risk their own safety to help another dragon. They won't fight another dragon. Those that fight are under the influence of a black magician. Just thought I'd add that. Other than that,
thank you
for your time, everybody. It's been awesome sauce.
Thank you so much, Dean. It's been amazing. Now, if anyone does have any questions and you haven't been able to ask them today, people can again reach out to you directly. I would really encourage you to reach out to Dean, get onto his Facebook page, get following, see his incredible work, see his amazing art, because as he's already said, he's also got some t-shirts, was it, that you were creating, Dean?
They would have been ready today, but let's just say I had a cold yesterday. I haven't had a cold in 7 years. Didn't even catch COVID. But I'm all over it today. But yesterday was the time I was going to get all the t-shirt designs made and ready for today.
Yeah.
I spent the whole day in bed yesterday. But
Oh my
I'm feeling
goodness.
good. No sniffles, no chestiness at all. So an immune system of a dragon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool, Kev. I'll make one up specifically for the Dragon Summit with your artwork. So I'll share that with you too when I get them done. Thank you, everybody.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dean. Thank you for coming online. Now, if there's no more so the one
there's
thing.
two Dean Bottles 1 and Dean Bottles 2. You'll have to become a friend before you can comment or talk to me because I've locked down my profile.
Okay.
Good point.
Yeah, so
now I'm
so
a public figure. You have to be a friend or something like that to communicate.
Okay, so they get onto your Facebook page, they follow you, become a friend.
Tell me a friend first, and I'll be happy to communicate with them.
Okay, perfect. That sounds really, really great.
Thank
you very much, Jean. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So we have